Welcome to a muzzled chat. How you doing today? Having a great weekend? I sure hope so. Gonna kind of keep things simple today. The main reason, let's just get this out the gate. I'm kicking off this episode is I have a question. Whether you have an answer or you just simply need to ponder this question, I find this question important, especially given this amazing video and speech I want to play for you today. Well, are you ready? This is not the question. Are you ready to have your mind blown? Because this is pretty mind-blowing stuff. I freaking love it. So the question, let's get it. Do you think the plan to destroy America was planned many years ago? I got my answers and theories. Once again, do you think the plan to destroy America was planned many years ago? As we play this video of this speech, the answer becomes obviously clear. Just obviously. Now, this man that gave this speech, I'm no expert, but I started diving in. I wanted to know more about him. The more I found out about him, the more I like him. Now, I don't know everything about him. We all got our skeletons. Now, this isn't a very good source, but the gentleman I'm talking about is Robert W. Welsh Jr. Robert Welsh. Now, it's interesting. This brief description here is from none other than Wikipedia. And that should raise some flags. This is a questionable source, to say the least. There's been a lot of social conditioning that has been done that has been clear throughout the years regarding this source. However, I find some of this information very fascinating. So this gentleman was born December 1st of 1899. It states that he was an American businessman, political organizer, and a conspiracy theorist. And it's not just this source. It seems as though with the anti-communist stance of this man in fighting communism and like globalists, even as he stated Illuminati, things of that nature, and these organizers, he has been highly criticized and ridiculed by liberals as well as some conservatives. It's interesting that this is nothing new, and it's still perpetuating and continuing on the political world stage today. Seems like this gentleman acquired some wealth through the Welsh founded Oxford Candy Company in Brooklyn, New York. But he's gone on to do a lot of impressive things. But I'll leave more research up to you guys. But this speech he gives is mind-blowing. So once again, do you think the plan, do you even think that there's been a plan to destroy America? And if so, was it planned many years ago? Let's dive in to this video. The sound quality's not that great, so I apologize. I'll see if I can clean it up in editing.
There are three possible methods by which the communists might take us over. One would be by a peaceful coup d'etat, as in Czechoslovakia in 1948. The second method would be by fomenting civil war in this country and aiding the communist side with military might. But there is a third method, which they are clearly relying on most heavily.
Most heavily.
And this is taking us over by a process so gradual and insidious that communist rule is slipped over so far on the American people before they ever realize it is happening. The process in that direction is going on right now, gradually but surely, and with ever-increasing spread and speed.
Did I mention, this is the most mind-boggling thing about this speech he gave dates back to 1958. This is what's so mind-blowing. 1958.
A part of that plan, of course, is to induce the gradual surrender of American sovereignty, piece by piece and step by step, to various international organizations, of which the United Nations is the outstanding but far from the only example. But another part is the conversion of the United States into a socialist nation, quite similar to Russia itself in its economy and political outlook, before police state enforcement is ever introduced. The best way to explain the aim here is simply to quote the directive under which some of the very largest American foundations have been secretly but visibly working for years. This directive is so to change the economic and political structure of the United States that it can be comfortably merged with Soviet Russia. Now, here are the communist aims for the United States. 1, greatly expanded government spending for every conceivable means of getting rid of ever larger sums of American money as wastefully as possible.
As wastefully as possible. Big fat check. Wow.
2, higher and then much higher taxes. 3,
check.
An increasingly unbalanced budget, despite the higher taxes. 4,
check.
Wild inflation of our currency. 5,
check.
Government controls of prices, wages, and materials, supposedly to combat inflation. 6,
check. Double check.
Greatly increased socialistic controls over every operation of our economy and every activity of our daily lives. This is to be accompanied naturally and automatically by a correspondingly huge increase in the size of our bureaucracy and in both the cost and reach of our domestic government. 7, far more centralization of power in Washington and the practical elimination of our state lines. There is a many-faceted drive at work to have our state lines eventually mean no more within the nation than our county lines do now within the states.
It's even bigger than the states at this point. They want to get rid of all the country lines. I mean, are we even a country as it stands now? Where's our border, right? It's like New World Order, this globalist. Oof. Meh. Check.
8, the steady advance of federal aid to and control over our educational system, leading to complete federalization of our public education. 9.
Check. Now, guys, replay this. Let every one of these sink in. 1958, mind you. Now, it's wild. This gentleman has so much other content and things we could do, not that just don't apply to that period, but right here today to help fix and fight against all of this commie tyranny.
A constant hammering into the American consciousness of the horror of modern warfare, the beauties and the absolute necessity of peace. Peace always on communist terms, of course.
Yes.
And 10, the...
Check. It's what we so eloquently describe here time after time at nauseum. Wolves in sheep's clothing. Putting pretty bows on stuff. Under the guise of doing good. Under the guise of we know what's best and we care for you. No.
consequent willingness of the American people to allow the steps of appeasement by our government, which amount to a piecemeal surrender of the rest of the free world and of the United States itself.
Wow.
In summary, gentlemen, we are losing, rapidly losing, a Cold War in which our freedom, our country, and our very existence are at stake. And while we don't seem to know we are losing this war, you can be sure the communists do. Yeah. There is just one thing, only one thing in the whole world which the communists fear today. It is that despite their tremendous influence in our government and over all of our means of mass communication, the American people will wake up too soon.
You hear that? The communists fear one thing, the number one thing, the fear that you, listener, today, this is dating back to 1958, but it 100% is the same fear they have today. Can you see all those bells were trying and alarms were trying to sound the threat on free speech, how dangerous it is, Nazi YouTube and the censorship, to all the plays to control the narratives, the propaganda, and the information. That's why so many Americans are being doxxed, threatened. And frankly, if you're not, you're not doing your part and standing up in a way, being a part of the solution. It's being complicit with the problem. I hate to really break it to you that way, but it's the truth. He wraps up pretty strong here.
To what has really been happening and what is now happening.
Let's jump back.
Right, mass communication, the American people.
It's interesting. He states mass communication in those days, it's nothing near what is going on today and how tyrannical it has become and downright dangerous and scary.
Will wake up too soon to what has really been happening and what is now happening right under their very noses. The only thing which can possibly stop the communists is for the American people to learn the truth in time.
Wow. Can't wait to get this message out and turn people on to some of his speeches and his solutions that he also spoke out back in his time. Once again, do you think that there's been a plan to destroy America? I mean, to me, clearly, yes. Yes. What this man here got labeled as like conspiracy theorist over. He was hitting the nail straight on the head. And it's mind-blowing that he knew what he knew, he saw what he saw, and he spoke out on it all when he did. You can see everything he spoke out on that was labeled conspiracy. It's all come to fruition. Every single line item. One thing I wish he'd interject, and I think he might in some of his other content, but like how they ruled out and demonized God. Like the true truth bearer. Wow. All right, that I believe. There was something else. I know there's something else. It's going to eat me up because I'm not remembering at the moment. Dang it. I need to take notes. I was anxious to get this out. Bear with me. Now, we got a pretty cool episode we're planning on. Some may be like, well, you're a little behind the curve, James, a little late. But, no, we're just in time. Going into this year, and it's interesting with the conversations and chats I've had with Aid and so many other individuals. You could take these things as they may, as they land, but finally dove into the Barack Hussein Obama film, Leave the World Behind. Also mind blowing. Now, out front, do I recommend people see this film? No, I do not. Not just to support him in funding whatever evil, essentially, but to subject yourself to such filth. There's so much symbolism, social conditioning, evil, projection, all wrapped up into one. But I dove in, did a lot of homework, listened to a lot of people's content, so it was kind of been beneficial to not be the first. And I have my own theories, my own intuitions off of this, and I do believe there's a lot of stage setting going on where they're projecting a lot of the hands they may play. And there's a lot of them in this singular film. Think about it. What is a former president doing, stepping into this arena and essentially creating, I don't want to say like the end of the world films, but the end of America films, is a former American president. Most American presidents just kind of ride off into the sunset. Not this guy. No, he's actively pulling strings from the basement, like he so eloquently put, that he'd rather be doing than the one in front of the microphone on the stage, that he could be in the basement. He's very much a part of the plans. And I believe I picked that a bit up on this initially from Dan Bongino, where he stated, I haven't found that piece of information yet myself, but the actual like producer on this film that, I don't know, I guess kind of brought Obama and his husband, Michelle, I guess they both kind of co-produced this film. And when this other producer got Barack Hussein Obama's input on the gravest threats in the downfall of America, quote, it scared the shit out of him. So, yeah. I don't see it so much as a film. More so, I don't want to say documentary. It's just everything I've kind of just talked about, I suppose. But yeah, I'd venture to say hold off on viewing that yourselves till we dive into it. The disclaimer I would put on that is you could arm yourself with some shield protection with prayer if you want to subject yourself to it. And then I also would advise you have the remote handy to mute and turn down some sections, because one of the things that is being discussed is that the film itself has been weaponized in a sound frequency type of way. Sounds kind of out, but we're going to be going over a lot of the information some of these other people have found and dove into and are continually coming out with. Let's just end with I love you guys. I want the best for you and America and our futures and world. It's just like a relationship, though. It's just like so many things. We can't effectively focus on the world till we, like a relationship. Like, you can't really healthily show up in a relationship till you do the self-work and are ready for it. So it's like, we do need to make America great again before we can really step into and have a positive impact on the world stage. Because the reality of it is, it's just such a mess here. We got to clean house. That's what it boils down to. But with these projections, oh my goodness, do not be caught with your pants down. It is better to be prepared. So with that being said, I can't wait to get more discounts and sources set up for you guys on all fronts. But support us here, please. Click that follow thingy. I'm still confused. I still don't get this tech stuff, like how there's a follower and following. Someone's gonna need to describe this to me or explain it at some point, because it's like, wait, if you click the thing, shouldn't it? So why are there two different numbers as to like follow like people? It's confusing me, okay? I don't get it. And it goes for a lot of these platforms. It's like the same thing. I'm like, why is it two different numbers, like the same thing? I don't. Someone over there is, I'm sure, really laughing. But prepare yourselves. Stay tuned for this giveaway. Got these 2 tickets. Support us. Help me help you. So click the thing. If you want to financially support, we got the direct Venmo, Cash App, and also my GoFundMe, where 100% of the proceeds go specifically to the Lyme disease. I am well under budgeted just even to continue the current protocol I'm on, not to mention the protocols I can't even afford to try. But we're going to get there. God, I know God's looking after me and each and every one of you that wants to turn towards Him and let Him bless your life. It's onward, upward. It's beautiful. We're really going to dive more into the why. Like, why are we here and why are we getting so self-absorbed? That's like my main takeaway. I think that film had a lot of different intended things. I mean, you could see what's going on here. It's to distract us. It's to make things so like challenging. Like we don't even fulfill the why. So let's not get too caught up with all the fluff. But darn it, let's not suffer in the process. So let's do some mild preparations. Check out EMP Shield. I have a feeling, personally, that's going to save lives. Could save your life. Best bang for the buck, I feel, preparations for the majority of us to do. Check the links below. Get the $50 off all their products through a muzzled chat, or if you know the webpage and use that promo, or just use the link. Support Alex with Black Eagle Apparel, or kind of like co-sponsor to this platform. He's out there pushing for free speech and our freedoms. It's time we support an alternate economy and individuals that share our same morals and values. Love you guys. Thank you so much. I can't wait for more. I can't wait for these chats. As always, if you got a conversation or something you want to have discussed or be a part of the discussion, reach out to amuzzledchat@gmail.com. Till next time, God bless. Take care.